Hey there, Michael Church with CrawlSpaceNinja.com, and in this video I want to talk to you about crawl space vapor barriers, otherwise known as crawl space plastic or even visqueen, depending on what part of the country you're from. So what we're going to talk about today is how to choose a good vapor barrier that's going to fit in your budget and that's going to accomplish what it is you need to accomplish in your crawl space to help keep it dry. So stay tuned. Okay, so how do you know which crawl space vapor barrier to choose on your crawl space project? Well, there's a lot of factors that go into this decision. Number one, are you planning on wrapping the pillars and taking the vapor barrier or the plastic up the walls? If you are, you want to make sure you go with a thicker vapor barrier or perhaps even a reinforced vapor barrier, depending on how high up the wall you go. Now, are you planning on using the crawl space for storage? If you're going to use it for storage, depending on what you store on the liner, on the vapor barrier, you may want to go with a thicker vapor barrier. A lot of people like to go with at least a 10 mil or a 12 mil vapor barrier, or some people like even a 20 mil. Some people go with some type of reinforcement or liner under the vapor barrier if they have a lot of water intrusion coming in to help evacuate that water from underneath the vapor barrier into a sump pump or something like that. So these are all things that you need to think about. And sometimes calling in a professional is the best way to kind of advise you on that. Now, if you're looking to do this yourself, no problem at all. You can hang the vapor barrier, you can tape the vapor barrier. These are all things you can accomplish. It's always best to have some help though. So what I'm going to go over now is some of the different types of vapor barriers that are available to help you make that decision. The first one is your standard visqueen or your 6 mil black, 6 mil clear vapor barrier. This is regularly available at Home Depot, Lowe's, Ace Hardware, your box stores. It's even at Walmart. We use this to create containment areas if we're addressing a mold situation. We use it in many different cases. We even install this vapor barrier for people that are just looking for the least expensive option to putting down a decent vapor barrier. Now, according to the insurance companies that we've done work for, this type of vapor barrier has about a 7-year lifespan. So you want to make sure you plan ahead. If you're planning on moving in 7 years or less, then this would be one that you could utilize, but just keep in mind, it'll probably be replaced in 7 to 10 years in most cases. It actually will start to degrade and become so thin that it won't even have its effectiveness anymore. So a 6 mil black or a clear vapor barrier is a good choice, but not the best choice. A good next choice would be perhaps a reinforced 6 mil vapor barrier. Now, the thing about this vapor barrier is that there are good reinforced vapor barriers and there are bad reinforced. Now, what I mean by reinforced is this actually has a string that goes through, you can see in a diamond pattern, that gives the vapor barrier more strength. So that way, if you're going to take this vapor barrier and hang it on the wall, it gives you the opportunity to put a nail or what they call a Christmas tree hanger or something like that into the vapor barrier to keep it up on the wall if you have a water intrusion through the block. Now, when I say a good reinforced vapor barrier, this is what I mean. Sometimes vapor barriers will begin to delaminate, as this one has done over time. Now, that cord that's inside there, this is something that a lot of people don't think of. If that cord gets wet, all right, if this vapor barrier starts to delaminate and that cord becomes wet and just it creates a stink that is similar to cat urine. We've been in crawl spaces where they've used a really cheap reinforced vapor barrier that lasted maybe 3 or 4 years before it started to break apart. And as you can see, it's just kind of glued together. So the process in which people make vapor barriers is very important. So what you want to do is make sure that you're not choosing the cheapest reinforced vapor barrier. When we go up against a competitor and their price is several $100s less expensive and everybody thinks plastic is plastic, what's the big deal? Well, this is one of those big deals that you need to think about. The worst thing you could do is have your whole crawl space encapsulated, and then all of a sudden, 2 or 3 years down the road, it starts to smell like cat urine down there, because that urine smell, even though it's not urine, it's just what this smells like, is going to come up into your house. So make sure that you're choosing a good product whenever you're doing your crawl space job. Now this is a little bit thicker. This would be classified by most people as a 20 mil vapor barrier. You can see it's quite a bit thicker. It's got some good reinforcement in it. But again, you can see the bubbling behind the vapor barrier where it started to pull away and separate. So given enough time, this vapor barrier will also delaminate, and that reinforcement cord is probably going to start stinking. The other thing you got to be mindful of, depending on who you're talking to, what the salesman is trying to tell you, is that some people may sell this as a 20 mil and some people may sell this as a 12 mil. And you're like, well, that's a big difference. Well, it depends on where you measure the vapor barrier. If you measure the plastic on the reinforcement, this is probably a 20 mil plastic. If you measure the plastic between the reinforcement, actually give it a true measurement of the plastic, it's more like a 12 mil. So you got to ask these questions. Well, is it a true 12 mil? In other words, are you measuring on the plastic or are you measuring on the reinforcement? So don't let people fool you into thinking they're giving you more than they are. I can't tell you how many times we've gone up against a competitor and they said, oh yeah, we're installing a 20 mil in your crawl space and we're installing a 10 mil, okay, in your crawl space, us. And the 10 mil is as thick as the 20 mil because they're measuring it on the cord. So you got to be mindful of that sort of stuff. Don't let people talk you into something. Ask them to touch and feel the vapor barrier. Make sure you look at it and study it. Ask for a sample. Okay, so these are great ways to make sure you're investing in a good product. Okay, now I'm going to introduce you to a different type of vapor barrier, and is actually becoming our favorite type to install for a couple of reasons. Number one is it's not reinforced, but it's very thick. And this product is really neat because it's not glued together. It's not 3 or 4 different layers put together with a reinforcement inside of it, so we don't have to worry about it delaminating. It's also a white, which is very nice. It makes the crawl space bright whenever we install it. And it's a solid piece of plastic, so there's no way that this plastic is ever going to separate. Now, this is the type that we install 95% of the time. Now keep in mind, we can install any type of vapor barrier, whether you want a reinforced, a non-reinforced, a black, a clear, a white, but this has become our most popular style. So we really like this type of vapor barrier. Again, this is a 10 mil, a true 10 mil vapor barrier. It's very strong. We hang it up on the walls. We put it 12, 15 feet up in the air and it hangs just nicely. So you may want to look at something like this. Don't be fooled by the reinforcement. That's become one of those things that people have started to sell just because they can charge more money and it makes sense. They try to make it make sense to where it won't fall off the wall. Well, this won't fall off the wall either. So it doesn't have to have a cord inside of it to keep it from falling off the wall, nor do I need to put it between 2 trucks and stand on it to prove that it's strong. This is a very strong vapor barrier that does a great job. Okay, 2 other things I want to mention real quick is an underlayment. A lot of people are asking, should we put an underlayment under the vapor barrier? The other guy said we need one. What's that all about? Well, this is probably the most popular type of underlayment. They call it a water matting or something like that. The theory is that it allows the water to travel from under the vapor barrier and move away into a sump pump or something like that. We hardly ever install underlayments. If you're in a rocky area, like maybe you got a lot of gravel or a lot of bedrock or roots or things like that, you may want to look at investing in something like this to protect the plastic. But here's a thought, why not put another layer of plastic down? So I could take that 10 mil vapor barrier that I just showed you and double it up, and now you got a 20 mil vapor barrier. I could triple it up, and now you got a 30 mil vapor barrier. And it's still less expensive than buying these products and installing them. This is a felt type product that people are starting to use as well. Anyway, once it gets wet, it's kind of like a wet sweatshirt. Becomes very heavy and hard to remove, so this would go under the plastic. So this would be on the ground, and then you could put something, and it's supposed to give you a little bit more cushion. Both of these are supposed to give you more cushion as you crawl through, but are you planning on crawling through your crawl space? Now, if you're gonna, like I mentioned before, use it as a storage unit or something, then, this may be a good idea. But it's not that we don't install them, but 90% of the time, this is an unnecessary added expense. The plastic itself is going to do a great job, unless you've got an environment that's rocky or sharp or something. But if you can remove those rocks and those roots and things like that, that would also be a good idea before you put the vapor barrier down. Okay, well, I hope that was helpful in helping you decide what type of vapor barrier you should use. Remember, the better the product, the longer the lifespan, and the less investing you're going to have to do in the future. There's a lot of great products out there, and please, I'm not trying to say reinforced is bad or non-reinforced is good. It's up to you. I'm just educating you. A reinforced vapor barrier, we put a lot of those in, so don't be I'm not against reinforcement. You just need to know up front that every type of vapor barrier, depending on what you use, may have an issue in the future. So not a lot of people are talking about the issue with a cheap reinforced vapor barrier. So if you're going to get one, if you're going to put reinforced plastic in your crawl space, make sure you spend the money on good plastic. I know that sounds weird, but make sure that it's a very, very important part of the whole process, okay? Just like you would put good flooring down or good drywall up. You wouldn't want the cheapest, most horrible product inside your house, and you don't want to use the cheapest product in most cases in a crawl space unless, you just want a cheap product down there and you're not really that concerned about making it a good, useful space. So hope this video helped, and please let me know if you have any questions. Hope you like this video below. If you have any comments or anything like that, I'd love to hear from you. Thanks. Hope you have a great day. Hey, Michael Church here, and I'm here with Ryan.
Howdy.
And we just completed his crawl space for him and his wife, Hope. And Ryan, I'm just curious, what was going on down there?
We had a lot of moisture, a lot of crickets. And it was kind of a lot falling insulation. Yeah, it was just very moist, and we had some mold, which was pretty bad, but the cricket infestation was probably the worst.
So. Now, you had tried some do-it-yourself things to address the crickets. Did any of those work?
Barely, but no, not really. Yeah.
So what we did was we came in and we pulled out all the insulation, got the crawl space dry, and are the crickets still there?
They are not. They are gone.
Very good. And that was one of your main concerns, right?
It kept me up at night.
Did it really? Yeah. And I showed you what that cricket poop looks like too, right?
Yes, it's basically tar.
Yes, so, it's horrible stuff to get off. Well, did you have any reservations about hiring us? Or
no, it was very good. Your briefing was good. You went through it the whole process very well with us. And
great.
So it was
informative.
Very informative and fair, yeah.
Great. And how were the guys to work with when they were here?
We actually didn't even see them, to be honest. We were at work, and they came and went, and I went and checked on it when I got home from work, and everything was good.
Satisfied?
So, very satisfied. Yep.
All right, very good. Well, I just want to thank Ryan and Hope for having us do the work, and she wouldn't get in the picture. But I'm thinking about turning the camera around and showing her.
You might as well.
I'm just kidding. There she is. All right, thanks. See you later.